This is Offside Hockey Talk, where the Maple Leafs and hockey come to talk. All right, well, a little technical difficulties on the first one back. What's going on, guys? This is Offside Hockey Talk, where the Maple Leafs and hockey come to talk. Welcome back to my boys Dylan and Pete. And yes, the man from the sun, the man from wherever you want to call it, is finally back on the show. Watched for the past 2.5 weeks. These guys carry the show, carry the mail, do everything you could possibly want. Two amazing guys to do, and they did it really well. Saw Mr. Tio Sports Fan Div show up on the show as well. Shout out to him, Clark Monroe, Annie O.D., and everyone else who stopped by to drop a comment or just have a little fun. Offside Hockey Talk was rolling. And the Maple Leafs, while I was gone, well, they were rolling. They stopped. They picked it back up. They looked like crap out in the West Coast swing. And then they came back and they did some more things. Guys got hurt. Muzzin's career is pretty much over. Yeah, lots to get into, guys. But what's going on?
Oh, man, nothing really much. But to be honest, it was an honor to host the show. Welcome back. Glad you're back. The pressure's a little bit off of me now, but Pete was a good co-host.
Listen. Shout out to Dylan. He did. I think Dylan did a fantastic job holding it down while you were away, James. But James, I'm gonna kind of call you out here. Do you even have a tan, buddy? I can't tell.
Yeah, buddy. I got the what do you call it? The big dog ring light right here.
That's probably it. Yeah, cause I'm looking at myself right now. God damn, I'm pasty as hell. That's why they call me Pete the Heat. But
I'm gonna call you out then, man. Break it down, boy. Let's go.
Good. Glad to have you back, buddy.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, around these parts, we are proudly brought to you by Boxing Rock Brewing Coast, Puck Off Lagerdale, the absolute big beer for the big podcast. And what bigger than Offside Hockey Talk? And guys, I teased it over on Twitter and, of course, across social media. Coming into tonight, I had something to say. I cannot say this enough, okay? Whether it's Muzzin being hurt, Brody being hurt, the Leafs being up and down and in and out, there is some sort of freaking dark cloud over Leafs Nation this year because it is just dirty. People are nasty, whether it's talking about Curtis and the shit that he's getting slung at him, the DMs that I've gotten since I've been away about not doing my videos and this stuff and that stuff. And, why aren't you doing this? You need to be here. And people just going absolutely in on stuff. It's just garbage. Guys, we root for this team right here. We all do. Everyone under the Leafs Nation banner, whether you're a baghead, whether you're a queen, whether you're a Pete the Heat, Dylan Fournier, or myself, we root for the Leafs, which means you should root for them to win. But so many people are rooting for them to just fall the hell apart. Everybody rooting last night for Matt Murray to have a bad game, except for a small section. What are you doing? Do you want to go back to when this team was absolute hot garbage with no Austin Matthews, no Mitch Marner, no Willie Nylander, no Morgan Riley, none of these brand name players that we have? Do you want to go back there? Do you want to sit there and say, oh, this is great? I love Brad Boyes on the first line with Tyler Bozak. That's my guy. I love Jamal Mayers on the second line, mucking it up, and Colton Orr and Fraser McLaren dropping the mitts every 5 minutes because that's real hockey. No, that's just trash. Just trash. You have the league reigning MVP on your team.
Woo-woo.
Pick up your socks. Enjoy the regular season. It's going to be a ride. But what I'm noticing from the Toronto Maple Leafs boys is they are doing the Tampa Bay thing. They're going to probably win enough games to get themselves third or second in the Atlantic, but nothing else matters. By the way, Austin Matthews, tip of the cap to you. He said he doesn't give a crap. Actually, he said he don't give a shit about what people think or say or do, and he doesn't give a shit about all the other stuff that goes on for individual shit. He wants to win. That's their mentality this year. They want to win.
Yeah.
So, Leafs Nation, my rant is about to be ending. Stop with the crap. Enjoy this. I watched from afar. I couldn't believe it. This team wins, and everybody's like, well, no, it wasn't good enough. Shut up. Shut up. enjoy what's in front of you because windows close really quickly. And as we learned with Jake Muzzin, guys' careers can be over like that. And you no longer get to see them play.
Yeah.
So just stop.
Just shut up. Shut up and watch. Enjoy the team that's built here. We
Enjoy
have not
the damn team.
we've
That's
never
right.
seen the Leafs team this good ever before. This is the best Leafs team ever constructed. Ever. In my humble opinion. But there's no reason for anyone to go after Matt Murray. He's played one freaking game for the Leafs. And I'm glad he won. He won his second game back, or second game as a Maple Leaf against his former team that he won 2 Stanley Cups against. And he looked great last night. He looked fantastic. So shout out to Matt Murray and shutting up all the stupid Leaf fans out there.
I hate how quick people are to hop on one person or like just the team as a whole. Like they take these things for granted. Like what we have in front of us is very, very special. The last decent team, or the last team that made the playoffs before this team, was a team that was ran with Dion Phaneuf and Phil Kessel, for heaven's sakes. Like, yeah, he's the Iron Man guy, but like this team is so talented. I think the problem is the rest of the league is also so talented, and it's not just your original 6 teams. Like that has been our whole problem since '67. There's so many more good teams now. It's not just those 6 teams competing with the 4 little good ones, and they're all jumping to be the best. These teams are fairly good.
Yeah.
We just gotta buy our time, slide in second or third there in the Atlantic, and I think we'll be fine.
It just doesn't help when we get knocked out of the first round every single season, and yeah, that's gonna pull some.
But there's the Jekyll and Hyde thing right there, right? The Leafs play a bad game, everybody says burn it down. Yeah. This team sucks. The Leafs win a game, and everybody's like, well, it doesn't matter. They're not making past the first round anyways. So where is your common ground for happiness? Do you not have any in your life? You know, do you just wake up and piss in your own cornflakes because that's how you want to start your day? Like, just I don't understand it. Leave it alone. And I thought about this one long and hard, and it probably will be a TikTok. So don't take it, Pete, please. There is only one true Stanley Cup champion in the NHL for the history of the NHL right now. Because if you listen to everybody, the Leafs only won the cup because there's 6 teams. Montreal only won because there's X amount of teams. Well, here you go. I'm going to break an argument down for everyone. There's only one true Stanley Cup champion who's won the cup with 32 teams in the league, and that is the Colorado Avalanche. Because, hello, all the teams were available last year, full 32 slate, and one team came out. So there's only one true champion then. If you want to cherry pick stats and say, well, it's only because there were 6 teams, and it's only because there's 24 teams. Well, guess what? No other team Stanley Cups are relevant because there's now 32 teams, and there's only one team that has won in the modern full era, and that is the Colorado Avalanche, and that's it. So everybody else's arguments are done. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when you won the cup. There wasn't 32 teams. So there you go. If that's your argument, that it doesn't matter your team won the cup because there wasn't 32 teams, it doesn't count. Because that's what people tell us about, oh, there's only 6. And when Montreal won, there's only this many. So there, 32 teams last year. Colorado's your only true champion. Done.
You know what is funny, James, when other fan bases come after us is generally it's fans that have really never seen their team actually win a Stanley Cup. Like I get all these kids attacking me online, like Montreal fans, and when's the last time they won? It was 93. Like
93 coming up on 30 years.
Yeah, we don't see these big fan bases winning the Stanley Cups either, right? So it's just shut your mouths.
Yeah.
Leafs are next. Leafs are next in line.
It's coming. It's coming. Listen here. I want to talk about Jake Muzzin right quick. Our little group chat that we have for the 6 and the 6. We talked about, the spine injury that he has and how serious it is. And I just went through and rewatched the Kyle Dubas press conference from the weekend just to brush myself up on exactly how he said things. The February thing for him having his checkup is much like the Carey Price thing. It is just a doctor visit. It is just an update to the media and fans that, yes, indeed, he is still 100% hurt and he's not going to be playing. Jake Muzzin isn't coming back. No matter what everyone wants to say, he can't. He cannot. Okay, you look at how long it took people with spine injuries to come back to contact things. I look at Edge in the WWE with his spinal fusion surgery and all that stuff, and they told him he'd never wrestle again. It took him 9 years to get back healthy enough to be able to do what he's doing now. 9 years. Sorry, Jake Muzzin doesn't have 9 years.
No,
He doesn't have all that time. I think Jake Muzzin 100% is done. I beat the drum as hard as I could that Jordy Ben would be the Jake Muzzin light, penalty killer, front of the net, physical player to replace Jake Muzzin when Jake Muzzin was either on IR, which I said he would be, or when he was just being, load management. Now it's not load management. He's not going to play. But Jordy Ben looking pretty friggin' good. Now, obviously, it's the shine on the new toy, but he's physical. He blocks shots. He clears the front of the net. He doesn't take any shit. So I like that. We all like that. That's a guy that we need. It's what Jake Muzzin brought when he was healthy. So I'm going to enjoy that. I'm going to enjoy the fact that he's here. The next thing, though, the Leafs do need to make a move. I know everyone says, well, we're going to stay internal. You say that to keep prices down. Because the second you say, well, I'm the GM of the Maple Leafs. Yes, we are actively looking for another defenseman. And the teams go, yeah, well, we're actively raising the price. So now I know you need a defenseman. I'm not going to throw you a lifeline. I'm going to throw you an anchor. And you're going to give me Matthew Nyes or this or that or this or that to give you a player that you want.
Yep.
So Kyle Dubas is obviously doing it the right way. Yeah, we'll use what's in-house. We know what we have with Sandin and Liljegren and Krall and whoever else they want to use, Mac Hollowell. They will say those things because obviously if teams get a whiff of your desperation, the price goes up.
Yep.
So right now, Toronto's sitting pretty. They have picks. They have prospects. They got a guy named Nick Robertson that isn't getting a lot of ice time, but definitely knows how to fire the puck and do different things, maybe in a top 6 role with another organization, dare I say. Does he get a chance? And there's lots of different defensemen out there. But here's the problem. Go look at the standings. Teams are not that far apart, especially over on the eastern side of things, especially in the Atlantic. It's 2 to 4 points of the spread. So right now, there's not a lot of separation to find guys for teams that you think are going to be rentals. And I think the Leafs will bide their time, and it'll probably be January, the beginning of January, where we see the move happen for the Leafs to bring in a defenseman.
It's got to be a defenseman, right? I mean, I hear rumors of a forward, but
A lot of people.
There's no way Kyle Dubas lets us go into the playoffs without upgrading this defense core.
They definitely will upgrade the defense core, Pete. But the thing is people are panicking. Okay, if you go look at the Toronto Maple Leafs and their goal scoring this season, they are not a high-flying, high-prowess offense. I think they're 23 or 24 in the league.
Yep.
But then again, the Toronto Maple Leafs last year were top 5. And they have a lot of the same guys who led them in scoring still on that team that aren't scoring at a high clip. Nylander's not flying high right now. He's doing all right, but he's not putting up the goals.
Not yet, Jim.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. He's doing all right. He's not putting up the goals. Austin Matthews isn't scoring 2 or 3 or 2 or 1 every single night like he was last year. He's not being prolific yet, but his 200-foot game is a lot better than it was. So those things will regress to the means, in my opinion. I think you'll see the Leafs come back to where they need to be, probably about 10th in the league. But here's one thing, guys. The Leafs defense is again good. They were pretty damn good last year, at least in the top 10 in all the defensive metrics that make your D look good. So, and that helped Jack Campbell get his $5 million contract where he gets to sit on the pine in Edmonton and not play games with. But this season, the Leafs are doing it again, propping up Samsonov, propping up Murray, propping up Shalgren. So whoever's between the pipes, the Leafs defense, if you look at the games the Leafs win, it's 2 goals or less when the Leafs win. You can go back and look. There's not many games that go any higher than that than the Toronto Maple Leafs win. So when 3 or more are scored, you know Toronto's in some trouble. When they hold it to 2 or less, the Leafs are picking up those victories. And that's when you know their defensive game is on point. Another guy who's playing really well defensively, John Tavares. And Dylan, I told you, break up Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner. I said it to start the season. I said it needed to happen early. It took a little while. And why do I think that happened? Sorry, guys, I had a lot of thoughts. It's been
spit it out. Love it.
So Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner, we all know they love to play together. But sometimes you have to convince people that it's their idea that things happen. So I think Sheldon Keefe gave them all of the rope possible, and things weren't working. Passes were being missed, passes in feet. Things just weren't clicking. So then you go to them and say, hey, how would you like maybe try playing with JT? Just freshen things up a little bit. You let it become their own idea. So now they're not disgruntled that they have to go on different lines because you're not doing it out of anger. You're doing it out of, hey, we've done everything we can. It's just not clicking, boys. So let's just, give you guys a fresh breath of air. Go play with Willie. Go play with JT. And by the way, they're now 6-1 in scoring chances since they've been together. Where the other way, when the lines were the other way, it was 1-12.
Yikes.
Okay, so you can see the instant change. And the good thing here is now you've spread out your offense. Like I said, you got JT rolling because Marner's playing good with JT. You got Matthews and Willie playing good. Bunting's starting to click because now he can be that dirty little over here.
I need to
talk about it. William Nylander in the corner last night. William Nylander throwing a couple hits. And why do I know that, Dylan? Because I have him in fantasy and I'm beating your ass with him. Let's go.
Oh,
let's go.
I don't think you have a win yet, James.
I don't. But if I'm leading, I can chirp.
I'll let you beat up on me. I'm having an off week.
Ooh, an off week. No, I think I just found my stride of what I need to do in this league. It's 20 goalies, 7 defensemen, and 3 players who might put the puck in the net.
You chirped me for having more than 2 defensemen, and now you're picking up all the defensemen.
Listen, in this league, go look at the stats. I said it earlier in the year here, a couple weeks ago.
It's the hits.
It's crazy. The hits and the blocks are worth more than goals and assists.
Yeah.
Which sucks because any league that you go into, unless you're strictly saying this is a crash or banger league, you go into it thinking I'm going to draft guys who put the puck in the net and do offensive things to get me points.
Yep.
Not in this league, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm learning now how to do it differently, okay? I'm retooling on the fly, if you will. But to go back to the Maple Leafs, they're doing the same thing. And they are learning how to put guys together in positions to work.
Yep.
Like Calle Yarncroke, like Pierre Engvall, which do something, my friend. Like, you had a good game Saturday night. You stuck your giraffe neck out and you did some things and you pumped your mighty legs and grunted and made noises, which was great. But do that every game because last night he was tenuous again. Like, just get hit. Let it happen. Sorry. Jesus, I don't know what you need. You need your bell rung or something just to wake you up. Sometimes maybe it's the old adage, you're not in a fight till you get punched in the face or something with him. I don't know. Maybe just hack and whack him or something. But I look at the Leafs defense and I look and I say, there's one guy we didn't have last year for the whole season. We got him towards the end. But there's one guy that came in and now he's a steadying force. Brody goes down. It's not the end of the world. You still have Mr. Mark Giordano. And by the way, TJ Brody, enjoy your 2 weeks off. Go build a shed. Go have a cup of coffee. Go watch the sun do something, my friend. I love you. You're a great defenseman. Love it. But enjoy. He hasn't missed a game since you've been here. Go take a minute. It's okay.
Yeah, man. He's the most underrated Leaf. Easily the most underrated Leaf. The reason no one really pays attention to him because he doesn't put up any points. But
it's not that you don't pay attention to him. They always say the mark of a good defenseman is when you don't hear their name throughout the game because they are doing everything they're supposed to be doing. Yep, so they're not out of place. They're not. But with TJ Brody, for me, I'm screaming at the TV at least 2 or 3 times a game because he's breaking up a 2-on-1, sliding down in his belly. He's class for that. So I love it. I love it. I made a Christmas song about it last year, for crying out loud.
I remember that. You're gonna have to remake that. Remake it for this year.
Oh, it's coming again. Don't worry. There'll be some. But yeah, I look at the Leafs and I say, okay, last night, we'll break down this game, guys. 5-2 over the Pittsburgh Penguins. Rasmus Sandin, this is where you're going to see where guys' warts are. Rasmus Sandin had all the time in the world. Didn't need to do what he did with the puck to Sidney Crosby. He didn't. He had all the time in the world. But what I liked last night, okay, the Leafs were up 3-0. Then the cavalcade started. Oh, crap. Everything's crashing in around us. They pressed pause themselves and figured it out. And they didn't get scored on again. There were some moments where pucks squeaked through Matt Murray.
Yep.
That's okay. Because there was a team thing. Jordy Benn on the line. I forget who else it was that cleared a puck. Mitch Marner was in behind the goaltender, clearing the puck away. That was a telltale game for me. Because 9 times out of 10 this season, the Leafs have a lead. They get scored on, and they fold like a house of cards. But they didn't last night. They regained their composure. They figured it out. They kept pressing. Murray made some timely saves.
Especially that Letang breakaway. You see that Letang breakaway?
Yep.
Stopped him stone cold. And Jordy Benn to stop Crosby when he had that.
Oh my God, what a beautiful
6 saves, man. Jordy Benn may be the better Ben, guys. Maybe.
Well, yeah, no, he's on fire right now. That's why the name of this episode is "The Leafs Are Benn-Sational." So I look at that game and I say, everybody's so worried about what the Leafs are. That is a telltale sign of what a team is doing.
Yep.
Because they picked themselves up and they kept it rolling. A lot of times this season, the Anaheim game's one of them. They ended up getting tied after they were up, and then they lose in overtime because they just wilt. They didn't wilt last night. No. They kept it together. They kept it rolling. Matt Murray made timely saves, and you guys know that is my thing. Timely saves from a goaltender is my thing. Whether it's Samsonov, because I've long said Jack Campbell would let us off one in. Freddie Anderson would let us off one in. But I love Sonar. Sonar would make that save. It makes you happy. Shalgren, he'd make the save. Hello, Sholly. What's going on, brother?
You and Pete just don't like Sholly. I
like Sholly, man.
So I give him a lot of crap because he's not an NHL goalie. But, in all fairness, guys, he's a certified AHL goalie. He's our third stringer. He did his best for what he is. So we'll take what he gave us. And honestly, I don't want to see him ever play again for the Maple Leafs. He's go win for the Marlies. We need Sonar and Murdog to stay in front of our net right now.
Murdog.
Yeah, that's his nickname.
The Merman.
The Murdog and Sonar. I don't think, or Sammy, whatever you want to call him, but Eric Shalgren's certified AHL goalie. He's third stringer. He's not good enough to play in the NHL, at least not right now.
What?
I think he's got some promise. I'll give him that.
He held down those back-to-backs very, very well.
Why did he start Shalgren? They didn't trust Petruzzelli. I was shocked they didn't start him because, like you said, Dylan, the Leafs have a great. I guess they're not going to go off stats here, but they have a great record whenever they start a rookie goalie. What is it? They won the last 4 times the rookie goalie started. So it would make sense. Try him out. See what happens. It was against Vancouver, who obviously they're not very good this season. But I was a little shocked they didn't go with Shalgren or Petruzzelli that game.
The reason why they didn't is there's no travel because it was at home.
Right.
Shalgren could sleep in his own bed, rest, heal up. There's no, longing on the body to go in a plane and travel here, there, or everywhere.
Right.
Right back at it at the Scotiabank.
And do you think Keith asked Shalgren or he tells Shalgren you have to play next game?
No, I think Shalgren asked Keith.
Really?
Keith. I really do. Because if you listen to the comments from Keith on the weekend, he said he wanted to be back in there. And he said he had confidence in going back in there because when he has a bad game, he does tend to rebound. Guys, we're talking about Shalgren and being he's not an NHL goaltender. The Leafs are 5-1-1 in the month. Yeah, 4-1-1 with him.
He played very well in the back-to-backs. Like I'm pretty sure that after that Friday Saturday game, he was the goalie in the NHL with the most back-to-backs so far this season.
No, I wouldn't doubt it. But I'm just saying, like I love Eric Shalgren. I mean, when I do my prediction season videos and he's in net, it's the Shalgleri gate or whatever it is. I can't say it. See, I'm still sick. I can't get these things out of my head. The Shillelagh grin or whatever it's called, right? He Shalgren again between the pipes, right? Because he's a happy guy. But it looks like Murray locking it down. The Leafs are 5-1-1 this month so far. They're clicking. They're doing what they need to do.
And what did we say? November is our freaking month, man.
It really is. It really is.
And October ain't it. It never has been.
It's never been it for the Leafs. It's never been.
It never will be. So
but we tread water.
Calm the frick down. Stop picking everything apart. Like, it's so frustrating.
I'm a big believer. I'm a big believer at peaking at the right time. As long as the Leafs peak just before the playoffs, that's all I can ask for. That's all I want. We need them to play good in the playoffs. We all know they're going to make the playoffs, right, guys? Yeah, so we just need them to peak. We need them to peak at the right time. I think Boston right now is peaking way too early. I'm expecting a decline from them. I know I picked them not to make the playoffs. It's looking like they are, but I don't think Linus Ullmark and Jeremy Swayman are that good to hold them down. And Bergeron's old, Marchand's coming off surgery. I know they look great right now, but I'm waiting for that team to slowly decline. We're going to hop above them in the standings.
I think they will regress to the means a little bit. I do think guys like David Krejci, where they did not play in the NHL last year, will probably slow down a little bit. So, I do see those players, taking their toll. And any team that has a player that misses camp, whether they come out flying or not, like Charlie McAvoy, those things catch up to you towards the end of the year. We seen the year that Willie came back. He was sucking dirty pond water towards the end.
Dirty pond water.
It was bad. He looked like he was chugging, right? So it's going to be interesting to say the least here. But guys, like I said, the Leafs are 5-1-1 in November. We picked them to have a good November. They're rocking and rolling right now. What's that? That's 11 points out of 13 or 14, something like that, or 12, or whatever. They're doing half freaking decent. So there's nothing to worry about right now. There's so many teams that are so close, But one thing that you can keep in mind, a team that is in a playoff spot or out of a playoff spot come American Thanksgiving, that is usually where that team will be.
Who says that? Friedman says that a lot, right?
Friedman says it, and it is fact-checked. It is actual, pretty much gospel. That's the way that it breaks down. So if you're in a spot, you're in a spot. We know the Leafs are going to do all right. The thing that we need to figure out for the Leafs right now is, when does the offense start to gel? When do they start to find things? And I don't mean to say it like this, but when do they give up on Nick Robertson and send him down and bring somebody up who's going to play in the bottom six?
James, you were really high on Robbie. Now, what made you change here?
It's not me being not high on Robbie. It's because I am high on Robbie. I want him on the second line, but Keith doesn't. Keith doesn't want to leave him there and allow him to grow. It's just not happening. Any other team, you look at Montreal with all their young guys, St. Louis lets them play through their problems, puts them back out on the ice. Sheldon Keefe this season, and be it proper, he's scared for his job. So he can't allow Nick Robertson to go out there and roll with Nylander, roll with Marner and Tavares.
I think Marner would be really freaking good for Robbie.
Oh, I definitely think so too.
Better.
But because of that fact, where he's worried about his job, he's trying to find lines that work, but also have defensive responsibility broken in, because he can't give that to Robertson right now to make the giveaway. He already has two of those on defense, and Liljegren and Sandin.
Yeah.
So this is a win all year for him, right? He has to go as far as he can. And I think it's a mistake not using Robertson. I do. But it's a mistake to have him sitting in a press box or playing 4 minutes a night.
So you think that his minutes would be better on first line AHL or be traded?
I do. you're hindering the kid at this point. It's the same thing with Shane Wright in Seattle. You know, they're messing around with
So
him
you
too.
agree with Steve Simmons, do you?
What's that?
Trade Nick, or actually, was it Steve Simmons? I don't know.
Dragos.
The article from the
No.
Toronto Sun that you.
It's not that I'm saying trade him just because he has value or trade him just because. But if you're not going to allow this player to play to his strengths and allow him to put himself on a line and understand there will be warts, if you think so highly of Mitch Marner and his defensive game, then put him on that line. Allow Robertson, which we all know, who can skate like the wind, can take a hit and get back up,
and can
has a
shoot
shot
it
from
deep.
anywhere. Yeah.
He can shoot that
from
damn
anywhere.
puck, man. Like,
so why not put him there?
He will make us regret it if we trade him.
Oh, no, he definitely will. And Pete, I don't want to trade him. I'm not agreeing with Trayco Snuff for a second because I was one of the ones that jumped on that for sure, that it was ridiculous to even print that. But if you're not going to play the guy, then at the very least, do him a service and put him in the AHL top line. Let him get his confidence back. Let him be top PP down there. Let him rock and roll and shred it up. And then when he's flying at 100 miles an hour, bring him to the NHL, put him with Marner and Tavares, and let that flourish. But right now, you're on the fourth or third line. Here's maybe 7 minutes. Or, hey, sorry, we're going to put in this guy because you're going to sit in the press box for a couple games because you had a giveaway. How is he ever going to freaking grow? I know that your job is on the line, Kiefer, but you got to let this guy play. You got to, just like I said to you guys at the beginning of the year. And same thing Mark Seidel told me and you, Dylan. He needs to be on a second line with players of his ilk consistently to build his game.
How do you think his brother did it?
That,
how do you think his brother did it? His brother is so good, and this kid learns from his brother, man. Like he's gonna be so good. But the thing is, like, you're right. Keith won't start him because his job is on the line, and
he's worried about the defensive inabilities of Nick Robertson. But if you're so high, and they've said it numerous times, on John Tavares' defensive game and Mitch Marner's defensive game, that should allow you enough to roll Nick Robertson, put him out there, put him in that spot, staple him there and leave him there for at least 10 games. Then if things don't mesh or things don't work, but he's shown that he can play with guys like Matthews. He can play with guys like Tavares and Marner. He can keep up with them.
He played well with Tavi in the playoffs that one year against Montreal.
No, it was Columbus.
Oh, Columbus.
He scored against Columbus. It was his first goal in the playoffs. It was that one right there where he just wailed the puck through the pads. I think it was of Merzlikins. But what I'm saying is, I don't agree to trade him. But again, if you're not going to play him and you don't have any thoughts of doing so, and you need a forward or a defenseman or something to build a package around, he's a pretty damn good, tantalizing trade chip.
I think
they don't want to trade Knies.
I think it's truly going to be him at the end of the day, because what's going to happen when Knies is available to play? They might even pick Knies over him, man.
Will Keefe even play Knies? There's the thing, right?
That's true.
It's at this point, it's annoying. It's a hindrance to the player. Yep. And I think it's a hindrance to the fans as well, because we want to see this kid succeed. Yep. We want to see this guy play. We want to see our home picks.
Homegrown.
Yeah, homegrown talents come to fruition because they put so much into this guy, right? And I mean, there was a time where we were graduating Marlies like crazy, right? Yep. You look at Hyman and Kapanen and Johnson and Marner, all these guys, Nylander, they kept going. Lots of guys were in the lineup. Liljegren, Sandin, all of these guys were all brought from Marlies, so to me, it's like you got to let this guy roll. I know your job's on the line, man, but you're going to lose out on a guy, and everybody keeps bringing up the example. 22 years old, the guy with Anton Strawman. The Leafs gave up on him. Anton Strawman went on to have a pretty damn good career. But the Leafs gave up on him because they were frustrated that he wasn't progressing to where they wanted. So, and Brad Boyce says hi as well. Went off and started scoring 40 goals and stuff like that with the St. Louis Blues.
Rask also says hello.
There's lots of things they've given up on, right? So, I mean, we all know Nick Robertson has the talent to roll with the top guys. So just put him there, staple him there, especially now. You're so high on these guys' defensive game. Let them play with them and flourish, become something special, because this team needs cost-effective guys. And if you can get a cost-effective guy up there scoring, maybe you start dangling Engvall or Kerfoot. By the way, everybody is on Kerfoot's ass.
Hell yeah, they are.
He looks good. He's had 2 penalty shots this year, and he missed on both.
It's crazy watching just people go after him.
He's not a goal scorer. I mean, he scored at the game I went to, but he's just, I don't know. He does a whole lot of nothing. Like he doesn't
He's a busybody.
He's just out there, and I don't know, man. He's supposedly this utility player, and I don't see anything coming out of him. Like what? I don't know. What are your thoughts?
The expectation for Kerfoot is too high after what he did last year, putting up those points. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And he miscast a little bit by probably about $1.5 million. If he was a $2 million player, we wouldn't be talking about him as much as we do.
Right.
But $3.5 million, so that's why he's under the microscope. But again, I like the line. Whatever line Camp is on, and whoever he has for wingers.
Yeah, I'm so confused some of the time when they have Camp out there. He plays great, but it's always not always, but it's sometimes new wingers. Yeah, like he plays a great defensive game.
I like Camp, Yarncroke, and Kerfoot.
I really like Yarncroke's game. I love watching Yarncroke. He's looked fantastic so far.
Yeah, there's a lot of people saying they don't know what he does, and for me, I'm like, man, I see the defensive things that he does and the penalty kill and all that stuff. I'm sure a lot of these guys will find their way. We're, for all the things we're talking about, I think we're only about 16 games in.
Yep.
So there are still a lot of things that got to get figured out, and we've had a lot of injuries, man. A lot of injuries in goal, a lot of injuries on D. So, and then you're going to work in some more talent too, right? Because you're going to be finding different guys that are going to be coming to this roster, whether it's through your Marley system or it's through trades. And I'm sorry, I'm going to throw cold water on this. There is no way in the bluest of blue hells I want Jakob Chychrun anywhere near this team.
I don't want him.
He's going to ask, what's your ideal trade?
I don't want him.
What's your ideal trade for Nick Robertson? Obviously, we need a defenseman here, but you don't want Chychrun on this team? Why? His contract too long?
It's just the injury.
He's injury-riddled.
It's just, and again, what does he bring that we don't have in a Morgan Riley?
Yeah.
He's not physical. He's not a big shot blocking kind of guy. He's more an offensive build, breakout pass kind of guy, which I think this team is showing it right now with Jordy Benn in the lineup because it's working really well, is we need a physical guy. We need a Scott Mayfield. We need guys of that kind of ilk. Someone threw the name out John Klingberg. I mean, I don't want you don't need a winger. You don't need because what happened? What happened the last time we brought somebody in, Pete, that was offensive minded on defense?
It was Tyson Barrie, and he didn't freaking amount to nothing.
Well,
don't bring in Erik Karlsson either because that's stupid. And freaking San Jose's not going to eat enough of that freaking cap. So forget about that. We need a defensive freaking guy. I don't care what anybody says.
What I'm trying to say, because if you bring in someone who brings offense, you're taking away from Morgan Riley, which Morgan Riley had his worst statistical season when Barrie was there. Because that's Morgan Riley's power play. That's Morgan Riley's first line minutes. So I'm looking for, and you don't have to trade Nick Robertson to get a Mayfield or any of these other kind of physical kind of guys. I want a 3-4 is what I want. A 3-4 defender.
It was nice having Luchkin last year, eh?
Yeah, but no.
I've seen names come out, but I forgot.
Carson Pusey's another one.
Nah.
There's a few guys out there that you can see and be like, well, you know what? That may be someone that you want. But like I said earlier, there's so many teams right now that still believe they're in it. So you really can't get anyone.
Right. The market's really high right now then.
Well, it's high, but also teams don't want to give up on guys yet because they think they might go for a run themselves.
Right.
Like I said, the Leafs will probably make their deal in January. And they'll get whatever guy they want, and they'll bring him in. But I think this year the Leafs may have to dip into the, rental kind of defenseman name kind of market. But I think Scott Mayfield fits this team quite well.
Scott Mayfield's on Islanders, right?
He is. He's a physical guy. Likes to hit. Likes to block shots. He's what I was joking about with Clark a lot last year towards the deadline. He's a minute munching, shot blocking, net front clearing guy. Which look at what Jordy Benn's doing, and how much that's paying dividends. Just even last night. You look at the fact he was clearing the puck from the front of the net, clearing guys from the front of the net. So those are things the Leafs are going to need.
Yeah, let's be real about Jordy Benn though. He's not the hero. He's not going to be this good every single game. He's a 35-year-old defenseman that's just he's the poor man's Jake Muzzin, as you say it, but he's not that good.
But here's the thing. Right now he's miscast, but when Brody comes back, Jordy Benn is your 5'6".
Yeah,
I'm in.
Just entirely.
I'm in.
For sure.
I'm in for he'll be money on the penalty kill.
Yep.
He's money for physical. He's money for clearing the front of the net. And if you play him to where he's supposed to be, which is bottom pairing, he's going to be fine. Right now he's playing above his means and looking all right. But the second he has a bad game, everybody turns on him. I guarantee you.
Yeah, for sure. That's what we do here in Toronto.
But right now, just enjoy the fact that he's playing the way that he is. But that's the type of D you need, but an elevated kind of guy who has better hockey IQ. Think Jake Muzzin hockey IQ with the Jordy Benn physical effect.
Dmitry Orlov would be somebody that I like. And Clark also said Gavrikov on Columbus.
Yeah, Gavrikov, though, he's a flash. And again, he's last year, this year. So what are you really getting?
Or Matt Roy, but I don't think LA would give him up because
I want Orlov. Give me Dmitry Orlov. That guy's physical. He's a Russian bear. He'll get in there and do what he needs to do. I wouldn't mind Dmitry Orlov at all. I used to actually have him a couple of years ago in a fantasy hockey pool. So he was racking up the shots and the points and all that kind of stuff. But that's what the Leafs need right there is a 3-4 kind of guy to solidify the D. But you won't see that for a while. They'll roll the young guns. We'll also be seeing Matthew Knies. Everyone has to pray that his team gets knocked out quickly and becomes a part of the
How soon do we see Matthew Knies? Does he make an appearance in the playoffs?
Oh, yeah.
He'll be here in February or March, right?
It'll be probably stretch run March-ish. Depends on how far his team goes in the Frozen Four. That's the reason why he went back.
When's Frozen Four start, though?
Not sure. I have to look it up, but it's going to be around the same time that they chartered the jet for him last year, right? So
yeah.
There's a lot of hype around Knies, guys, but is he really this good? Is he? Should we be getting really excited for him?
I watched his skating skills. I like how he plays.
There was that one cool clip in training camp where he just dusted the other guy, but that's training camp. He's playing against guys.
Yeah.
But
he's like Matthew's size, man, and he can shoot and he can work his way on the boards. Matthews, I think Matthews doesn't do as much as what Knies does in the corners.
Mm-hmm.
I think Matthews waits for the pucks. I think Knies is a battler along the boards.
Is Knies he's eligible for the World Juniors this year?
He might be too old now.
No, I think he is. I think he still is. Yep.
Okay.
That'll be fun to watch him. It's fun to watch him in the summer this year. Did you guys see the clip where he's got the bloody nose and he's just battling? He just looks like a warrior out there.
Pete, I was going to say we had going into the draft this year a considerable amount of different people that scout from all over the place, whether it was Josh Chester for Smart Scouting or Mark Seidel and a few others. But everyone said to a name that Matthew Knies is a player. He is going to be a guy that you want to watch. He is much see. A lot of teams did pass over him, and that was a lot of people saying that. But at the same time, there's a lot of people now that said if they were to redo the draft,
he'd be in top 10.
He'd be in the top 10.
Yeah.
They would take him as a top 10 talent. So that makes you excited, right? So
juniors is under 20, right?
I'm so used to getting excited about this team that I lower my expectations for everything.
You should until he proves it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just be excited that you have someone in the pipeline. That's what I've been doing.
When's the last time you got really excited for a prospect? That's very true. We haven't had this much excitement in 7 years, right? I just remember
a lot of people say that we hit the Leafs hit on this guy, right? So and they're people that we take them for their word because it's what they do. So. And again, that was Mark Seidel who said that Montreal was going to take Yaroslawski first overall,
and they did.
Yeah, when everybody was shitting on him for it. So
World Juniors is under 20, right? It's not under 19, right?
I think it's under 20. Yeah.
So
how old's Bryce? 21.
He's 20. You have to be 20 and under, right?
20 and under. Yep.
Okay, good.
Depends on when his birthday falls.
October 17th, 2002.
Yeah, I think he'd be good.
I think he's good.
I think he'd be good.
Cool.
Might get to see him right here in Halifax.
Oh, that's right.
We might have to make the trip. Just kidding. I can't.
I'm just waiting to get my email to be credentialed. So let's hope that comes through because that'll be fun. But ladies and gentlemen, we're here talking about the Leafs. Obviously, it's my first show back. A little rusty, letting the wheels spin, just rambling on and on. One thing that I didn't get to touch on while I was away was the Mitchell Miller thing.
Yep.
And I'm going to say this. Don't mention his name. Don't mention his name. Don't speak about him. He's not the focal point here. He's not the person you should be talking about. You should be talking about the victim. You should be speaking about him and what he needs and what he needs to go through and what he needs to have brought to his life to make things better. Because it was not just an isolated incident. It was not just one or two things or three or four things. It was a long, long time that this stuff was going on. And nobody wanted to stand up for this kid. Nobody wanted to back this kid. Nobody wanted to support him. Now is the cool thing to do because everybody's jumping on that bandwagon. But what I'm saying right here is don't even mention the other guy's name. Don't mention that arsehole. Don't say his name because every time you give it, you feed it. You feed that name and you give it more airtime. Give the other name the airtime. Give that person the time to have a spotlight and to be able to grow.
He's Isaiah, right?
Yeah. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Don't allow this guy to have any more oxygen in the room. He had his chance to speak. He spoke from grade 1 forward, and the way he spoke showed exactly who he is. A gutless, spineless coward. And that is what he is. If you're going to bully someone and you're going to use that language and you're going to continue it, and then you're going to be a chicken shit and apologize on Instagram because you know you got a contract coming your way, stick it up your ass. You're a little bitch. And I hope somebody from some league fills you in and you get filled in every single time because that's what you deserve. If that's the type of person you are, which is proven you are, and you're scummy as hell saying you're working with organizations and they come out and say they're not, you're a scummy piece of garbage. And that's just what you are. You will not change. You had multiple opportunities from grade 1 forward to make amends and fix it and be better. You decided to be worse. So you made your bed, fucking sleep in it.
Well said, James. Well said. Yeah, that whole situation, reading Isaiah's what he said, just it gave me chills. It gave me chills of how shitty of a human being. Like it was someone in our group chat, I think it was Mario, said like he's literally one of those comic book movie characters you see that like there's no way a bully is that bad, but he is that bully, and he was that from the first grade all the way up until high school and just treated him like garbage. And like for you to just send an Instagram message and not realize all the fucking damage you've done to this person goes to show you you're an absolute psychopath and you shouldn't be playing professional hockey ever.
I think the worst part about it was that at some point during the time that it had happened, he like somewhat tried to convince Isaiah that, like they were friends and like
they were buddies.
He should be in like with him and all that, and then still continued to treat him like garbage. Like he shouldn't be even talked about with like James says, like he is literally the lowest of lows. And like I don't understand how somebody can feel okay doing that to another individual. Like
it's
you are
some of the parenting too, right? Like
absolutely.
Oh, he's a chip off his dad's old block. That's for sure. Go look at his dad's stuff.
Yeah.
Same thing like Tony D'Angelo. Same thing. Just a chip off the old block, you freaking assholes. It drives me nuts, man. To sit there and look at it was just ridiculous. Isaiah, man, I know you may never hear this, but I hope that you get all the support you need. You get everything you need, everything that should be coming your way for the rest of your life, because you definitely deserve it. It sucks that you had to go through that and live through that and not have anyone there to support you, and have teachers and other parents and other students just sit there and allow it all to happen. Allow it all to happen. And when you try to bring it up, they just shrug you off like it's nothing. That's just, to me, that's even worse. Even worse. So, Isaiah, I hope everything for you starts to turn around. You get something out of this, for a positive bit of your life, and you can use it to help empower and help other people, and not let them stay silent. Maybe this allows people to talk up and speak up about their own situations and root out all the shitty Millers that are out there. But to switch it, I know it's a hard turn, to switch it to the Leafs. I want to say, guys, this week we got the New Jersey Devils. It's going to be a fun game. Devils are on a heater.
10 games.
Can't wait to see that tomorrow night. This is the stuff that you start to measure. Like I said, the not wilting against Pittsburgh. Now you got a team that's on a heater. How do you deal with that?
They look fast. I was watching some of the highlights from last night against Montreal. They look super fast. That Jack Hughes, man, he may get 100 points this season. He looks phenomenal.
Ooh, the famous wit bet that he's gonna fumble on hard.
Oh my god, I love that. I forget who he made the bet with, but it was
the cameraman.
Yeah, the cameraman. Yeah. So, they have a bet saying that Jack Hughes, or Witt says that Jack Hughes isn't going to hit 100 points
in the next 2 or 3 seasons, I think, is the bet. And it's like, buddy, you might be.
He looks great. And I love that they've now printed Sorry Lindy shirts, because the crowd started cheering that. Yeah, I've never heard that. Have you guys ever heard that from a crowd? That's amazing. No. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, it was the first game, for heaven's sake.
Also a little two-faced, but I don't know. Like, I like Lindy Ruff as a coach. I thought he was great in Buffalo. I don't know.
Excellent in Buffalo.
Yeah, I think he's a Hall of Fame coach, in my opinion. But
I think in the entirety of the league, guys, there's been 60 teams that have gone on 10-game winning streaks, and only 2 have missed the playoffs. One was
Montreal.
One was really recent, and it was Buffalo and Montreal.
Okay.
Buffalo was right close. Buffalo just happened a few seasons ago. I always reference that. You can win 10 games and fall off a cliff. But 60 teams, only 2 didn't make it. So
I want to also say their goaltending, like, even though they're both are 1A and 1B are like off, they got some kid that's doing some magic right now.
That's what you need, man. That's what we're talking about, Nick Robertson. You need young guys to do amazing things on cheap deals.
I think is his name. Smeed.
Was that
the New Jersey goalie? I think his name is something Smeed. I'm gonna double check that.
They got Dawes in their system too.
Yes.
But I'm looking forward to that game tomorrow night. What's that?
Wasn't Bernier in there at one point? Is he still in the system, or is
he might be the? Oh no, he's backing up somebody else, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, tomorrow night's going to be a fun game. We got the Leafs Weekender coming up on Sunday night. It's going to be bomb. Cannot wait to see what happens for the rest of the week for the Leafs. Guys, it feels good to be back. It's been an hour, and it doesn't feel like it. But, guys, this right here, it's Offside Hockey Talk, where the Maple Leafs and hockey come to talk.